not enough of me to do the job I want done throughout this whole vast universe, which now he had created, the physical universe. And as a result of the sins of the angels, it had all become chaotic and in confusion. In other words, it had all become waste and empty or decayed. And I mentioned before how the first time the cameras were sent and set down on the planet Mars, that the first pictures came right into the Ambassador Auditorium in Pasadena. And the first pictures from Mars came by an arrangement by the government offices in conjunction with California Institute of Technology. And it was just about 5 or 6, 7 minutes after 5 in the morning as they came through. And the auditorium was pretty well filled with people, many of whom had been sitting there all night waiting for it. And it was just exactly as I knew from what I find revealed in the Bible. It was absolute decay. No life could be there in this present condition. Now, God has a purpose, and his purpose was for the angels to first build up and finish this earth, and then later to go ahead and refinish and beautify the rest of the whole universe.
Greetings, everyone. I have a quote from our August 31st, 2023 news report. And here's the quote. James Webb photographs one of the universe's most photogenic galaxies. And you have there on the left, as we'll give you this picture, the James Webb Space Telescope on the left, and then the Hubble telescope on the right, the picture from both of those telescopes. And we're comparing, of course, the James Webb one with the Hubble, and you can see a gigantic difference between the two. And here's another closer up, the James Webb Space Telescope number 2 compared to the Hubble telescope, and you can see even more detail in this startling, wonderful picture of the universe. Now, I wrote an article some time ago about how the heavens prophesy. The universe is broadcasting an inspiring message. What is it saying? On December 25th, 2021, NASA launched the James Webb Space Telescope, probably the most advanced scientific instrument in history. 30 days later, it parked itself 1 million miles from Earth and has begun recording the most advanced images of deep space we have ever seen. A little further down in 2004, the Hubble telescope showed that the universe contains somewhere on the scale of 120 billion galaxies, but now the James Webb telescope has excelled that by a large margin. Professor Marcia Reike said, not only will the James Webb Space Telescope have close to 100 times Hubble resolution, but it will see exoplanets far more clearly against the background of their host stars.
The rocket scientist and father of American space program declared, I find it as difficult to understand a scientist who does not acknowledge the presence of a superior rationality behind the existence of the universe as it is to comprehend a theologian who would deny the advance of science. Of course, again, honest theologians would never deny science. The author of science, God, would certainly not be in conflict with what he authored. Now let's take an imaginary trip to the moon and look back at Earth. Consider all we left behind. Let's ask, what are the mathematical odds that the Earth, with all its plants, animals, ecosystems, and complex interdependence, could come into existence by itself? What are the actual odds all this could happen, that even one Earth could occur? Numerous scientists have recognized the improbable position of our planet's location in the solar system relative to its moon. For instance, if the Earth were 10% farther from the sun, it would freeze over. If 10% closer, it would quickly bake. If 20% closer to the moon, 35 to 50 foot
The estimated 600 million people from around the world watched the moon landing live and cheered when they heard the word,
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Only later did details come out regarding how precarious the situation was. This year marks the 50-year anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission, when Neil Armstrong stepped onto the surface of the moon and uttered the immortal words,
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Fellow astronaut Buzz Aldrin and 10 other men over the course of 3.5 years followed in his footsteps. But Armstrong was the first. The last pair to do so were in December of 1972. Conspiracy buffs deny the manned landings, and there's probably nothing that will persuade them otherwise. But virtually every objection has been shot down, and numerous independent confirmations from around the world attest to the fact of the 6 landings.
About that great God that we heard about this morning in different ways, the universe itself screaming out to us of something we can't comprehend. Amazing. As we back away from the earth and we see more and more light years and light years away, farther and farther away, then we zoom back in, and all of the space that's out there that's so gargantuan in itself if we understand those things of science. And so many in religion who believe that science and religion conflict and disagree. They don't. The Hubble telescope right now says that there's a galaxy out there that is 13 billion light years away. I can't comprehend that. We were pretty close in today in the things we discussed here, or the things we heard discussed by the presenters. 13 billion. That means that when that came into being, or if you want to look at it another way, from the Hubble telescope, the light that it took pictures of, that which it saw out there, took 13 billion years to get here. I can't comprehend that, and neither can you. 100 years, as we were told to do, with a simple little telescope looking out there in space, and we look at technology. Scientists believe that the galaxy began about 1,400 billion years ago. Doesn't say, we're not told. Probably did. They're able to reach out there 13 billion light years away. Doesn't it conflict with the Bible? When people first come on the scene, they start reading through the book of Genesis, they don't understand. They think it's talking about the first creation of the earth, and so in religion, people get confused, and they have this debate because, and science does with them as well, because they think that everything only started 6,000 years ago. And science knows that's wrong. It started a lot longer than that. And the earth was here for millions of years. Man doesn't